I found out my fiancée aborted our baby after a paternity test she thought was wrong. Hey Reddit, I'm a wreck right now and I need to get this off my chest. I'm a 30-year-old guy from NYC and I've been with my fiancée, let's call her Sarah, for 3 years. We got engaged last summer and we're planning a small wedding for next fall. Things were going great, or so I thought, until a few weeks ago when my whole world fell apart. This involves a pregnancy, a paternity test, an abortion, and a truth that's left me heartbroken. There's also some messy stuff about a hookup, possible other partners, and suspicions of cheating that I can't shake. I don't even know where to start, but here goes. For context, Sarah and I met through mutual friends at a bar in Manhattan. She's 28, works in marketing, and I'm a freelance graphic designer. We hit it off immediately, moved in together after a year, and got engaged last July. We've had our share of ups and downs, but I always thought we were solid. About 6 months ago, Sarah found out she was pregnant. We were both shocked, but excited. I've always wanted to be a dad, and she seemed happy too. We started planning for the baby, picking out names, even looking at bigger apartments in Brooklyn since our current place is tiny. But things got complicated fast. A few weeks after we found out, Sarah started acting distant. I thought it was just pregnancy hormones or stress from work, but then she dropped a bomb on me. She confessed that during a rough patch we had last year, when we briefly broke up for a few weeks, she hooked up with another guy. I was devastated. We'd been together for 2 years at that point, and yeah, we had our issues, but I never thought she'd step out like that. She swore it was a one-time thing and that she regretted it, but she wasn't sure if the baby was mine. Let me back up and explain that breakup. It was around March last year, and we'd been fighting a lot about my work schedule. I was taking on extra freelance projects to save for our future, but it meant I was working late nights and weekends. Sarah felt neglected and said I wasn't making time for her. One night, after a big argument, she said she needed space and left to stay with her sister in the Bronx for a few weeks. I was hurt, but I figured we'd work it out. We'd had breaks before and always got back together. I never imagined she'd use that time to be with someone else. She told me the hookup happened about a week into our break. She'd gone out with some co-workers to a bar in the East Village, had too much to drink, and met a guy named Mike. She said he was just some random dude, a 29-year-old accountant who was charming and paid her attention when she was feeling low. She claimed they only hooked up once at his place, and she left the next morning, full of regret. She swore she cut contact with him right after and never saw him again. But here's the thing, she also mentioned that during those few weeks apart, she went out a lot with her co-workers, hitting up bars and clubs across the city. She said it was just to blow off steam, but I can't help wondering if Mike was the only one. I mean, she was single at the time, technically, but the thought of her out there, possibly with other guys, drives me crazy. She never gave me details about those nights out, just said she was trying to distract herself. But I know her co-workers, and they're a wild bunch. One of them, a guy named Josh, has always been flirty with her, even when we were together. I never liked him, and I've always suspected he had a thing for her. She'd laugh it off, saying he was just a friend, but now I'm not so sure. What if there were others during that break? What if Mike wasn't the only guy she was with? I didn't press her for more details at the time because I was already reeling from the pregnancy news, but now it's all I can think about. Anyway, back to the pregnancy. I didn't know what to do about her confession. I was hurt, angry, but I still loved her. I told her we'd figure it out together. She suggested a paternity test to be sure, and I agreed. In New York, you can do a non-invasive prenatal paternity test as early as 7 weeks, so we went to a clinic in Midtown and got it done. It wasn't cheap, about $1,000, but we both wanted to know the truth. Sarah was about 10 weeks along at the time. We waited a week for the results, and during that time, she kept saying she was sure the baby was mine. I wanted to believe her. When the results came back, I was crushed. The test said I wasn't the father. I felt like the ground had been ripped out from under me. Sarah started crying, saying she was so sorry, and I just sat there, numb. I didn't know what to say. She said she'd handle it and that she didn't expect me to stick around if I didn't want to. I told her I needed time to think. I still loved her, but the idea of raising another man's kid, especially after what she did, was too much. I moved out for a few days and stayed with a buddy in Queens while I tried to process everything. While I was gone, Sarah made a decision that I'll never forgive her for. She told me she couldn't handle the uncertainty and the guilt, so she decided to terminate the pregnancy. In New York, the law allows abortions up to 24 weeks, but after 20 weeks, it's only if the baby isn't viable or the mother's health is at risk. She was only 12 weeks along, so it was legal, but she didn't tell me until after it was done. She called me the day after, crying, saying she'd gone to a clinic and ended the pregnancy because she didn't want to raise a baby that might not be mine, and she didn't want to burden me with it either. I was furious. I get that it's her body, her choice, but I felt like she took away my chance to even have a say. I told her I needed space and stayed at my friend's place for another week. During that time, I kept thinking about the baby. I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. I started doing some research online and found out that prenatal paternity tests aren't always 100% accurate, especially if the lab isn't careful. There were stories of mix-ups, contamination, all sorts of errors. I started to wonder if maybe the test was wrong. I called the clinic and asked for a copy of the results. They sent me the report, and something caught my eye. The sample numbers didn't match up with the paperwork we'd filled out. I'm no expert, but it looked like there might have been a mistake. I confronted the clinic, and after some back and forth, they admitted there was a chance the samples got mixed up with another couple's. They offered to do a second test for free, but since Sarah had already terminated the pregnancy, we'd need to test any remaining fetal tissue. That meant contacting the clinic where she'd had the procedure. Sarah was hesitant at first, but I begged her to let me do this. I needed to know for sure. The clinic still had the tissue samples and they sent them to the lab for testing. We waited another agonizing week for the results. When they came back, I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. The new test showed with 99.9% certainty that I was the father. The first test had been wrong, just like I'd suspected. The baby Sarah aborted, the baby I'd been mourning, was mine all along. I confronted Sarah with the results. I was shaking, trying not to scream. I asked her why she didn't wait, why she didn't give us a chance to figure things out. She broke down, sobbing, saying she was so sure the baby wasn't mine because of the first test. She said she couldn't handle the idea of raising a child with a man she barely knew, and she didn't want to lose me over it. She thought terminating the pregnancy was the only way to save our relationship. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. She killed our baby to save us? I told her there was no us anymore. I moved out for good that day. I packed my stuff and went back to my friend's place. I couldn't even look at Sarah without seeing the future we'd lost. I kept thinking about the gender reveal party she'd planned for April 17th, how we were going to have a little girl. I'd already started imagining what she'd look like, if she'd have my eyes or Sarah's smile. Now that was all gone, and it was because of a lab error and Sarah's decision to act without even talking to me. I felt like I'd lost everything. The worst part is, I can't stop blaming myself. If I hadn't moved out after the first test, if I'd pushed harder for a second test right away, maybe Sarah wouldn't have felt so alone. Maybe she wouldn't have made that choice. I know New York's laws gave her the right to do it, but I can't help feeling like I failed her and our baby. I should have been there, should have fought harder. Instead, I let my hurt and anger take over, and now my child is gone. I don't know how to live with that. Sarah kept calling me, begging me to forgive her. She said she was grieving too, that she didn't know the baby was mine, and that she was sorry for everything. Part of me wanted to believe her, but every time I thought about what she did, I felt sick. I couldn't trust her anymore. How do I know she won't make another unilateral decision like that in the future? What if we had another kid and something went wrong? I couldn't risk that kind of heartbreak again. And then there's the stuff that happened after our breakup. A few days after I moved out for good, I heard through a mutual friend that Sarah had been seen at a bar in Williamsburg with some guy. I don't know if it was Mike, Josh, or someone new, but the timing felt like a slap in the face. We'd just broken up, I was grieving our baby, and she was already out with someone else? It made me wonder if she'd been cheating again, even after we got back together. She'd always been secretive with her phone, saying it was for work, but now I'm questioning everything. Was she really out with just co-workers during our break, or was there more going on? And now, after everything, is she moving on like our baby and our relationship meant nothing? I started digging a little, probably more than I should have. I checked her social media, which she hadn't blocked me from yet, and saw some posts from the past year that made my stomach turn. There were pictures of her at bars with Josh and her co-workers, some from after we'd gotten back together. In one, Josh had his arm around her and she was laughing. She never told me about those nights out, and I never thought to ask because I trusted her. Now I'm wondering if she was ever really faithful, even after we reconciled. The thought of her with someone else, especially so soon after our breakup, makes me sick. I've been talking to a therapist about all this, trying to sort through my feelings. He says I need to grieve the loss of the baby and the relationship separately, but it's so hard. I loved Sarah so much, and I wanted a family with her. Now I'm 30, single, and mourning a child I'll never get to hold. My friends keep telling me I dodged a bullet, that Sarah's actions showed her true colors, but it doesn't make the pain any less. I feel like I'm stuck in this loop of anger and sadness, and I don't know how to move forward. I also can't stop thinking about Mike and the possibility of other guys. Sarah says she hasn't talked to Mike since their hookup, but what if the baby had been his? Would she have kept it? Would she have tried to make things work with him instead of me? And what about Josh, or whoever she's with now? It's eating me up inside. I don't even know who Mike is, just some random accountant she met at a bar. The thought of her with him, or anyone else, still hurts, even after all this time. I feel like I'll never trust anyone again. Reddit, I don't know what to do. Should I try to confront Sarah about the possible cheating, or just let it go and focus on healing? Part of me still loves her, but I don't know if I can ever get past what she did, especially with these new suspicions. Or should I cut contact completely and try to move on? I feel so lost. I keep thinking about my little girl, the one I'll never meet, and it breaks my heart all over again. How do I move on from this? Has anyone else been through something like this? I could really use some advice. Update 1. Thanks for all the comments on my last post. I wasn't expecting so much support, and it's helped me feel a little less alone. A lot of you said I should cut contact with Sarah, and after thinking about it, I think you're right. I told her yesterday that we're done for good. She cried, begged me to reconsider, but I held firm. I can't be with someone who made that choice without even talking to me, especially knowing now that the baby was mine. It's too much. I also blocked her on all social media after seeing more posts that made me question her fidelity. I don't know if she's been cheating this whole time, but I can't handle the uncertainty anymore. I heard through another friend that she's been going out a lot lately, always with Josh and her co-workers. It's only been a week since we broke up, and she's already acting like nothing happened. It hurts, but it's also making me realize I'm better off without her. I've started looking into legal action against the lab that messed up the first paternity test. A few of you suggested it might be worth pursuing, and I think I need to hold someone accountable. If they hadn't screwed up, maybe none of this would have happened. I don't know if I'll win, but I've got a consultation with a lawyer next week to see if I have a case. It won't bring my baby back, but maybe it'll give me some closure. I'm still struggling with the grief. I keep having dreams about a little girl calling me daddy, and I wake up crying every time. My therapist says it's normal, but it doesn't feel normal. I feel like I'm drowning sometimes. I've started going to a support group for men who've lost children, and hearing other guys' stories has helped a bit. I'm not the only one going through this, even if it feels like it. I'll update again if there's any big changes, but for now, I'm just trying to take it one day at a time.
NYC's bar scene is a vortex. Sarah got sucked in. Her crew's chaos drove her hookup and abortion. Josh is just a symptom. At 30, your graphic design fire burns bright. Pitch to galleries, show your work, find a woman who vibes with your vision. This won't define you.
Sarah's quick rebound with Josh isn't the problem, it's her pattern. She thrives on NYC's nightlife, not commitment. Her abortion cut ties, not built bridges. At 30, your design talent's your fire. Join a Brooklyn art collective, create bold work, and leave her to her barstool regrets.
Trust issues predate Sarah. That breakup exposed a fear of abandonment. Her hookup with Mike just confirmed it. Her abortion wasn't personal. It was her escape. Staying despite red flags shows loyalty, but also blindness. Dig into why you ignored them. Self-reflection will break that cycle for good.
Sarah's not heartless, she's shattered. NYC's pressure pushed her to abort, thinking it was Mike to save you both. Her partying masks guilt. You're both human, not monsters. Dive into design, create work that screams your truth. Healing comes through art, not anger, in this relentless city.
Your breakup wasn't just work, it was clashing dreams. Sarah craved attention, you sought stability. Her abortion and partying screamed control, not love. As a designer, turn this pain into raw visuals. NYC's full of gigs. Chase that next big project and leave her drama in the dust.
Fixating on Sarah's bar nights clouds judgment. East Village scenes are wild. Josh might just be a loud co-worker, not a lover. Torturing yourself imagining betrayals without proof wastes energy. As a graphic designer, channel that fire into bold projects. NYC's a canvas. Build a new future with your art.
Josh is the core issue. It's Sarah's whole crew. Marketing types live for NYC's nightlife, and she dove in during your break. Her abortion was about dodging ties, not building a future. Your freelance grind is your power. Hustle harder, pitch bigger clients, and leave her chaotic world behind.
Miscarriage took my nephew, your grief's real. Sarah's choice wasn't betrayal, it was panic in a city that never slows. Her bar nights with Josh dodge pain, not love. NYC's home. Join a co-working space, network with creatives, and build a life beyond this heartbreak's shadow.
Your grief's crushing. I miscarried at 16 weeks, still cry sometimes. Sarah's choice to abort without you stings, but she was alone, scared, thinking it was Mike's kid after a bad test. You bailing didn't help. She panicked to save you too. Lab's error caused this. Sue them for negligence. Emotional distress cases can hit big. Her parting with Josh isn't proof of cheating, just pain. Block her socials and heal. You're 30, you'll rise.
Sarah's abortion stemmed from fear of entrapment, not you. NIC's grind glorifies freedom. Her crew embodies it. Blaming Josh misses her lifestyle's pull. Your graphic design hustle is your escape. Pitch to bigger clients, move to a new bureau, and start fresh in this relentless city.
Romanticizing the lost little girl ignores parenthood's chaos. Sarah's abortion, painful as it was, dodged a messy co-parenting fight with Mike's shadow. Her bar nights now are guilt-driven, not betrayal. At 30, explore NYC's art scene, meet visionaries, and redefine family on your terms later.
That breakup screamed incompatibility. Sarah's bar hopping with her wild crew showed her love for drama over stability. Grinding for a future wasn't her vibe. Her abortion prioritized her freedom, not love. A freelancer's hustle is strength. Focus on building an empire, not chasing someone who thrives on chaos.
Dwelling on if-onlys distorts reality. Sarah's abortion wasn't about you. She saw a future tied to a stranger's kid. Her silence was weak, not cruel. Josh and her crew? Distractions, not cheating. Create art that screams your truth. NYC's energy can fuel a designer's comeback.
Faith carried me through loss, but Sarah's choice challenges it. Abortion's heavy, her heart's with the party crowd, not family. Psalm 23 soothed me when my sister miscarried. At 30, lean into design work, find a community with your values, and let God guide your healing path.
Pregnancy during a breakup is hell. I've been there. Sarah's silence on the abortion wasn't spite, it was fear of losing everything. Communication broke down on both sides. Don't demonize her for surviving chaos. Reflect on that messy break. Honesty might have changed things. Healing starts with owning your part.
The lab's error was tragic, but self-blame is the real poison. Needing space after the test wasn't failure. Sarah's snap abortion reflects her impulsiveness, not your absence. NYC's brimming with creatives. Join a design meetup, reconnect with your passion, and let her drama fade into the city's noise.
Sarah's hookup with Mike wasn't random, it's her core. NYC's marketing scene breeds flirty chaos. She embraced it. Her abortion dodged responsibility. Not just you. Your freelance grit is your ticket. Pitch to ad agencies. Let your designs outshine this mess. Find a partner who matches your drive.
Society loves judging women like Sarah, but pregnancy choices are brutal. Facing a test saying it wasn't yours sparked panic. Her co-worker's party vibe isn't heartless. It's escapism. Don't dwell on what-ifs. As a designer, pour pain into art. Your work could outshine this grief in NYC's spotlight.
Anger at Sarah's partying misses NYC's bar culture. It destroys relationships. Her co-workers fueled her during your break. Abortion was her grabbing control. A freelancer's hustle is your edge. Build a killer portfolio, pitch to ad agencies, and let her fade into the city's endless nightlife haze.
Sarah's no villain. She's caught in NYC's high-pressure trap. Marketing jobs breed burnout. Her bar nights were a release, not disloyalty. Her abortion was survival, not spite. Bad timing broke you both? Turn this into a graphic novel. Your design skills can transform pain into a powerful story